Good evening, guys. Everybody in the chat, hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. We've got a fun couple of conversations that we're going to be having. But before we do, gentlemen, welcome back, man. We all got to take a little bit of a vacation last week. How have you guys been doing and what you've been up to?
Great. All right. I had a good visit with my mother. She came in, first time we'd seen her in 8 years, or close to it. And then we took her back to Nashville Thursday. Janet and I did go fishing Saturday afternoon, and I caught 7 or 8 smalls, but nothing big enough to eat. We're gonna have to get out in the boat every chance we've had. It's too windy to go out in the boat, so
that sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
Yeah, it's starting to warm up back down here, but we have been getting a lot of wind lately. So I've been boat cleaning.
Seen that.
Yeah, seen a lot of that.
And today, officially, the boat is on the market. So if you're looking for a 28-foot Grady White, go offshore fishing in. Got a boat for you.
Yeah, so, and I don't have it in the chat. I'll see if I can get that added, the link to your listing. I'll see if I can get that added. It will be in the description here shortly. So anybody who's interested in picking themselves up a very well-maintained 2003 Grady White, check it out. It's worth taking a look at. And John, we'll list that in we got a boat section in the server too. We'll list it in there as well.
Oh, cool.
That's it. Hooked up Wild Japan. Janet, cheers.
Pickle Pilgrim.
Hey, Janet.
David Martin.
It's bumping right now. Who do we got here? We got Mr. David Martin. Pleasure to see you, sir.
What part of the world? What part of the world are you in, Pickerel?
If you guys don't mind, so some of you guys from the Discord server, just FYI, you have different names in YouTube than you do the Discord server, so that some of us can keep up to date with who you are and who we're talking to. Would you mind dropping let us know what your tag is, what your name is in Discord, so that we can, everybody can know who it is they're talking to. Otherwise, we're making fun of you behind your back, and we want to be able to make fun of you to your face.
What's up, Mark J?
Wild Japan, good to see you, sir. Appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. Mr. Mark J. Larson, of course. The best day of a boat owner's life, the day they sell it. I'm sorry to say that, unfortunately, is very often the case.
Well, it's just selling it to get another one, so it's all right.
That's good.
About half the price, or what?
The new one will be a little less than the first one was, price-wise. It's going to be newer boat, so I'm not going to get it real cheap, but newer center console, 22 to 24 foot range, more powerful, jack plate, 12 motor with anchor lock.
Sounds like a plan. What's up?
After several builds, I finally get to where I know what I want. And the big thing is, I'm in San Antonio. I'm 2.5, 3 hours away from the coast. I can't just hop in the truck, drag that 28-foot behemoth down to the coast by myself, put it in, and man it by myself, right? That boat, you need a fan. It's a boat for a family or a couple guys who go into here because they fish a lot and want to go offshore. But you need at least one other person with you to operate. I like my old Mako center console. Hey, I'm going to a lake Saturday, and I just hop in the truck and I drive to the lake. I put it in myself. I go out and fish. I call it my mental health days where I'm by myself and just fishing and chilling. So I can't do that. So I want to get back to being able to do that.
I like that.
And the other side of the coin on that, of course, is there are places you can slip your boat down there, and you are talking about an arm and a leg. Like, haven't experienced that one. We've seen it. And you're talking about crazy, like it might not sound like much. If you might even hear it first. It's I've heard numbers, and I don't know what the costs are in some of those different places. So don't quote me on that. Do your own research. But if they're saying something like it's $400 a month, that's expensive. But that's one thing. But that's also, you have to have insurance for that kind of stuff. You're paying some other fees that are going to be tacked onto that $400 a month, and on top of that, there are requirements with the boat sometimes that you have to have. We had that issue when we were docking, when we were something a sailboat that my parents had a while back, before we started the channel, and we had a hurricane. One of the hurricanes hit, and so I forget the specifics of it, but the insurance company, in order to insure the boat, it had to be insured to be in the slip. So in order to insure the boat, it was going to cost like a complete re-rigging of the boat, which was going to be $10,000. So those things can really add up. One of the best options is simply to trailer it, and like John said, I mean, that is a pain if you're trailering a boat that size from San Antonio.
I'd say
we looked into keeping it down. Well, we kept it down there in the boathouse for just over a year. But the price went up. That was with storing the trailer there and the boat there, $7,000 a year. Cha-ching. And a wet slip, like me and Audrey talked about it. She said, I don't want to go down there and have our boat in a wet slip where birds and pooping on it and everything. So every time we go down there, we got to spend half a day cleaning the boat. And then the other part of it is you either get bottom coated, right, a bottom paint on it, or you have to deal with scraping barnacles and all that off the bottom of the boat. So I didn't.
You're going to have to.
Yeah.
Like you might save some money with a wet dock, but man, I've been that guy. I've been that guy that goes, I enjoy it. I would actually do this for a living if it was something that, was feasible. But I enjoy it, going down under there and scraping barnacles underneath the boat. It's kind of relaxing to me. But I'm not cheap.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either if I did that. So yeah, that's it. If I lived down there, it'd probably be a different story. I'd keep a bigger boat because hey, tomorrow's nice weather. Let's go, guys. And to be honest with you, my fishing crew, a little bit wimpy, right? We got down there a couple times and guys got seasick and kind of like, they're like, hey, we can stick to inshore fishing. So got to get a boat and do inshore. And I'd like to just be able to fish the lakes around here, the ones that have water.
I'll tell you, I am not in a financial position to do this, but if I was in the financial position to be looking into, a boat like that, one of the things I would seriously be interested in, and one of the things that I'm going to make a really hard push for on the YouTube channel, I want to get a sponsorship from Freedom Boat Club, where, they have that entire selection of boats, and it's expensive, probably more expensive than owning a boat. In fact, it is more expensive than owning a boat. But the boat's always new. You don't have to do the upkeep. You don't have to have any of the other expenses involved. You just give them a monthly payment, a hefty down payment, and then you take whatever boat out whenever you want.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty neat deal, especially if you don't want to deal with all the maintenance and all that stuff.
How big is it?
The Grady White is a 28-foot sailfish, so she's a walk around. So you got the bathroom down below, you got a galley, you got the berth up front, and then you got a mid berth, a little bed underneath in the middle. So she's a big boat. Not hard to handle, get her on the water, but just one person doing it all themselves, especially docking and all that, is a little bit challenging. But yeah, she got 2-gallon fuel tank. She'll hold 220 gallons worth of fuel, so she'll get you offshore.
A problem with those boat clubs is most of the time they don't have trolling motors or prop electronics for fishing. So these guys did when I looked into them, because I agree. These guys had that. I don't recall if they had trolling motors. I wasn't too concerned about that. I've never needed one, never used one in the past. I use them in Wisconsin, so I'm not negating the value. They definitely have it. My issue with them, other than the cost, because they were super expensive, and in my opinion, especially for like what we do, we had to have, I have to have, because I am a complete elitist, I have to have the super expensive subscription, because the minor subscriptions, I forget what the caveats were to that, but one of them was you only get to go out for 4 hours. That ain't gonna cut it for me. I need a full day, and I needed to be able to go out 2 or 3 days a week. And I think one of the cheaper ones was it was, one of them was you can only go out for 4 hours at a time. One of the other ones was you can only use it once a month, and that's cool. I can see the value of it, not knocking that. However, for what we do, if I'm going offshore at all, and I will be very limited in the offshore, the trips that I would be able to do with even their highest end deal, I would be very limited. I would not be able to do the trips that I do on the YouTube channel with their highest end stuff. I'd still have to be running with my Uncle Perry. But you know, the cheaper ones, there's no way. Like I'd be fishing the channel outside the dock for a 4-hour run once a month. It wouldn't work.
How much is it a month?
Man, you know, they were really guarded. So they're really guarded about their prices. They want you to go through their purchasing program. And I don't mean to sell them out on this, but I'm going to act as a spokesman for the company that I don't yet work for and have my sponsorship for. For the expensive one, you're looking at something like a $5,000 or $6,000 down payment, and then I think like
Audio faded out there, but I think we heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5,000
down payment, $500 a month is probably what you're looking at for the expensive run with those guys.
That's
No
fine.
thanks. Might as well buy a boat by that time.
Except that you never have any upkeep. You've always got a new boat because they're only 2 years old. When a boat turns 2, they sell it and get a new one. Always new. All the maintenance is on them. And you call them up and, you know, you have to tell them, hey, I'm taking the boat out on Saturday. And they stock it with ice. They give you all your stuff. It's sitting in the dock, ready to go. You don't have to wash it or anything. They take care of all of that. So that's what you're, you know, some of those services are some of the things that are involved with the payment. Plus, there's the option of, you know, like my port of call would be a Marker 37, which is where I do a lot of my fishing. However, they have Freedom Boat Club up in Wisconsin. So when I go to Wisconsin, I can use a boat up there. I have that access and availability. So that's kind of neat. If I go to Florida, we've got boats there.
Very cool.
Yeah, pricey. But again, like, you know, when we're talking about that price range, when we're talking about getting into that level, like that's definitely an option that I would be looking at. If you're buying a $120,000 boat, $5,000 down payment, $500 a month. I mean, that's kind of
Yeah. No.
What's up, Noah?
Yep, I see no.
So, topic of conversation tonight. This is an interesting one. And John, we were talking about some other stuff behind the scenes. I'd like to also address that, if you don't mind, because I'm not up to speed with the stuff that you were talking about. I think it kind of plays into this conversation. So I would like to get into that. But the main thing that we were looking at was, let me pull up the article here so we can take a look.
Inboard or outboard, diesel or gas? Is he talking about your boat?
If you're talking about mine, it's that dual Yamaha 225s outboard gas.
All right, so this is the article that I was talking about that is everything that if you clicked on this, and by the way, if you did, you clicked on this and we're no longer live, this is after the fact. Thank you so much for joining us and checking this out. Please consider hitting subscribe. We do these live streams every week, and we would very much enjoy having you join us for these for this entire podcast series that we do. So this is the topic here. NOAA cracks down on pier-based tuna fishing. Pier anglers fight for access. So here's what happened. In March, there was a strange run where a bunch of bluefin tuna had come really close inshore in North Carolina. And over the course of that time, there were multiple occasions where these bluefin tuna were getting really, really close to the piers. They were getting close to shore. And there were people on kayaks, there were people on the piers that were hooking into and catching bluefin tuna. It was a big story. There are actually several stories of these guys who did all that. The problem with this is that in order to catch bluefin tuna, you have to have a permit for the boat that you are catching that bluefin tuna from. In order to fish for bluefin tuna, it's not even just catching them. In order to fish, in order to target bluefin tuna, you have to have a specific permit for that boat. If you're on a kayak, you can get that permit for your kayak, but you have to do it in order to fish for them. And it's only for the vessel, which effectively makes it completely illegal to fish for bluefin tuna from shore. You can't fish for bluefin tuna from a pier. So all of this stuff is illegal. It's against the law to be fishing for these bluefin tuna that they're seeing. It's one pier in particular that was seeing a lot of these catches, Jenette's Pier, North Carolina. NOAA cracks down, lets everybody know. That's what came across the wire yesterday. NOAA is saying, hey, FYI, this is illegal. You are not allowed to be doing this. And I immediately saw that, and I'm like, that's horse shit.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a bullshit law. If you are not able, I mean, this is not something that happens very often. We are talking about a dozen fish per century that get caught like this.
Yeah.
It's bullshit that there isn't a way for people to take advantage of this extremely rare circumstance, simply because they don't have the financial means of having access to the boat and the permit. Have a land-based permit, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
This is bullshit.
You're right, Ben. No one should not even have a play in that. Fishing from shore, you're not in federal waters. Let me get the permit for it. That's better than getting a permit and never catching it.
Oh, that's kind of cool. You get the permit afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I'm not totally against it, but it'd be kind of nice. You know, they have the Jewfish in Florida, $500, and you can, you know, get a tag for a Jewfish, a Goliath grouper. I don't want to buy that, especially in advance.
Right? Because you may not.
I was gonna say I'd probably be more apt to go on a hunt somewhere if I could pay for the tag afterwards instead of
the same way
eating tag soup.
Yeah, that non-resident elk license in Colorado. If you could just, hey, I actually got an elk. Let me go pay my fee, whatever it is.
Right.
Then instead of, but I'm sure they love you paying for all these licenses and stuff and not using them or using them, whichever, because they're getting that money.
Right.
So one way they wouldn't get money if you didn't have to pay for it. So that's part of it.
You know, they would get more money from me if I was able to purchase it safely and effectively afterwards. Because right now, I am not going to, if they had a Goliath grouper tag right now, I am not going to go buy that tag. I am simply not going to do that. I'm just whatever. But if I am out on the boat and I catch a Goliath grouper and I'm having a day, I'm filming a YouTube video and I'm like, dude, like I want to do it on a whim, the impulse buy. I'm like, you know what? This has been a fantastic YouTube video. Whatever the motivation is for you, it's like you have that option of the impulse buy, being like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's just do it. And you don't have that option right now where you have to buy in advance.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, they can't even. So what did they say what the punishment was if you took one home?
One of these well, you're not even allowed to target them, so let's see what the law is on that. Once in a lifetime opportunity to hook a bluefin tuna from shore. It is a $2,000 fine for the first violation.
Okay.
Dang.
And they're even holding the pier accountable because they were promoting illegal activity. The pier itself is looking at some lawsuit stuff.
All right.
You can't do, and look at this, it's tuna and marlin. Oh, crap.
Rules, man, rules.
That's ridiculous, man. So they've got a petition, change.org. Is that something that we feel we need to have in the description, guys? A link to the change.org petition?
Yeah, I think that's bull crap.
I'll add it in there.
Yeah, $2,000 is a big fine for trying to catch a fish of a lifetime.
Exactly.
So for anybody here who's interested in, oh wow, that is a big old.
You know, like if you accidentally caught one and you wanted to take it home, $2,000, that's ridiculous. And then they'll probably confiscate it.
Yeah, probably so.
That link is a little bit big. I'll put it in the description right now.
They take it.
All right, I got that added on there.
Cool.
Oh. Sorry, my screen's being all funky here. There we go. Okay. If you pull something weird like tuna from land, you can get the permit after. Charter and commercial vessels need a permit ahead of time. Keeping roadkill deer is the same. So we do have a thing where with roadkill deer, you can actually call TPAW here. That's Texas Parks and Wildlife. And you can call them. I don't know, John, you know more about it than me. I think.
Yeah, I can send Parks and Wildlife rangers out to you, and they can fill out a document that allows you to keep the deer as long as you already have a hunting license.
Right. Yeah, you're right on that saltwater 247. That's what it says. Slot limit. Allowable Goliath grouper size is between 24 and 36 inches total length.
Yeah.
And that's one of the.
I think it was.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I thought it was 35 inches, but even 36-inch fish, man, I just don't want to pay the $500 for a tag on a 36-inch fish. I mean, tell me the difference between a 36-inch Goliath and a 36-inch Warsaw. Is it going to be that much better? Like, I'm an eating guy. I know it's a trophy thing you're looking at for $500. I'm not going to hang up a 36-inch Goliath as a trophy. I'd rather have a snowy.
Right. You'd probably like to eat a 25-incher.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Not for $500, though.
Well, the application fee is $10, and if awarded the permit, then the cost is a $500 for non-resident. It's $150 for residents.
No kidding. I thought it was $500. I didn't know there was a resident
Yep.
$150 one.
It's $150 for Florida residents and $500 for non-residents.
Ooh, that's a different ballgame. $150 for I'm going to say a 36-inch Goliath. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that? I kind of feel like, especially once, like I would do that once.
Yeah, you get a good catch
to do it.
Out of it.
Exactly. Yeah, I hear that, man. I'd be a little bit more tempted on that. I only heard 500. Obviously, I'm out of state, so that's probably why I'm stuck on that.
Right.
But $150, that is a different ballgame. The tuna permit in Japan is about 80 US. Whoa.
Huh.
So that's for the deer is $16.
Yeah, it says the lottery
pay that.
Says the lottery is open October 1st and closes on October 15th for your permit, and then the season is open March 1st to May 31st on the Goliath grouper.
Oh, I didn't know it was a lottery. I guess that makes sense. I'm all right with it being a lottery. I wish they did a lottery on them here. But also, why I don't understand taking them in that size range, because that's not the one I want. The 600-pounder.
Right. Yeah, I want the one you see swimming next to the scuba diver, or the swimming next to you that's as long as you are.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine having to drag that thing into the boat?
No. Can you imagine fighting it?
Not much of a fight. I mean, they don't swim; they're just dead weight.
Yeah, as long as you had the proper rod and reel, you'd be all right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, pretty much. Look at that, dude. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, like the second one on the left, that one's swimming next to the guy with the scuba gear on. That's as long as he is.
Yeah. That's kind of sketchy, man. That fish is going out to check out that diver, and he's probably curious what the diver's doing because he knows the diver's going to be involved in some food, but he also considers that diver as part of the menu.
you imagine spearing one of those if you're allowed to go down there and spear them?
Oh shoot! My dad used to do that. I think I want to say he used to spear. Oh, that might have been Warsaw. My dad has run into him. I don't know if he's actually speared Goliath, but he's run into him out at the jetties in Port A. They're out there. They're on that jetty. Yeah, he said it scared the crap out of him because it's just a big shadow in the water, you know. So the fight on Goliath, on this grouper in general, is kind of like, so they like to hide around structure. I've hooked in some big grouper. I've never landed a big one. But it's just like you feel a whump. This is the way it goes. Like we always use live bait. So you put a live bait down and you feel the live bait, you know, is swimming around, usually like a bonita or something. And then you feel that live bait trying to get away. It knows what's coming, and that's your rod starts doing that, and it gets you excited. You know that something's chasing it, and then you feel a thump. It hits that bait because the way they eat is they suck it in. So they suck it in. You feel that whump. And then it's not like being hung up. It's like there's a little bit of give. It's like getting hung up on if you've ever been hung up on a wire underwater, you know, where there's like a little bit of give, but it's just like 1,000 pounds of just with a little bit of give, or 500 pounds of just a little bit of give that you're fighting with on it. There's no swimming around. They don't like travel. They don't try to get away. They do try to hide in the structure. So a lot of times, you know, you have to have a real heavy duty line because you're going to drag that line across oil rig or rocks or something. And then it's just like pulling up a Volkswagen off the bottom.
Yeah. Saying a 20 to 36 inch Goliath grouper probably weighs 12 to 25 pounds.
Oh, man.
The largest recorded specimen was 680 pounds, measuring over 8 feet.
8 feet, good lord. That's a big mofo.
So that'd be this guy right here.
Jeez.
Wait a second. He harvested that.
So probably a long time ago or somewhere away from the U.S.
Yeah, he's in Indonesia or something.
Yeah.
It's big fish.
You don't look at the rod he's holding. There's no way. God, I can't imagine pulling that fish up with that little rod. This is the rod. This FYI. This is that black tip? That's the rod I use for him right there.
Wild Japan. I think what it was saying where they get 36 inches is when they're mature. In 5 to 6 years, it takes them to get to 36 inches, but that's usually they're mature when they're 36 inches or bigger, apparently.
The idea on that being that you have a bunch of small ones running around, they can't breed, and a lot of those are probably going to get eaten up by sharks and stuff. So when they get to breeding size, you want to keep them around so that there can be more.
That makes sense.
It does make sense. I don't argue that. As much as that's the fish that I want, I do understand. Although if they're like, you know, big drum, like black drum. So the size limit on black drum in Texas is something, correct me on the numbers if you know or if somebody knows. I think the numbers on black drum are like 14 to 25 or no, was it 14 to 30 inches, I think is the slot on those guys. Because when they get over 30 inches, they're breeders. That's when they can breed. But you're also allowed to keep one over 56 inches. Like they get to a certain size where they're just like too big and they can't breed anymore. Which I don't want to target a 56-inch black drum.
No.
But at the same time, for trophy purposes, that's kind of the one that I want to catch. Yeah. And I want to say, like, I can't help but feel like there's not going to, there isn't a similar thing you could do with Jewfish with Goliath grouper is they get to an age where they just can't breed anymore, and that's the one that I want. I want the 800 pounder. Let me keep the 800. It doesn't even exist. Like, you're not going to find the 800 pounder out there. Just give me that little thing. Let me have the 800 pounder. It's probably not even that good to eat.
I'd say it probably doesn't taste like chicken.
Yeah, no. It tastes like what chicken tasted like back in 1920.
No, it says you're correct. 14 to 30 inches on the slot for black drum in Texas.
I keep it legal. I don't
Red
target drum, so I don't really care.
Red drum is 20 to 28.
Yep.
And 1 over 52.
It's 1 over 56 for black drum. Red drum, you can tag one that's over the 28 inch.
Yeah.
You can tag 2, but you got to get a replacement tag for it.
Larger than 28, yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, we have days down here. Like, man, I've talked to you about this one before, dude. Like, November, come down here, and there are days where you can get a dozen 40 inchers. It's just like every other cast, and you're allowed to keep them. Not to say you want to, but I mean, if you want to mount that guy, have fun carrying him down the jetty.
Saltwater 247 is in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, good red fishing is Texas and Louisiana.
Oh wow, he doesn't even have a slot over there.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah, that blows my mind. Redfish are a dime a dozen around here.
Yeah.
I would say redfish is probably the easiest, like, not bycatch fish to catch. Maybe a toss-up. Maybe trout is easier. Kind of depends on if you're, like, like if you're at the beach, redfish is going to be the easy one. If you're in the bay, trout.
Those two
But
are.
you're going to get a lot of reds, too.
Usually somebody goes down to is inshore fishing and they have success, they caught reds or they caught trout or a combo. Black drum too.
Yeah.
And
It's something special when they get that in flounder.
Yeah. That's the
Which I have yet to do. I'm not going to lie. I haven't done that.
I've caught all three in the same day, but not all three legal size. So I don't know if it
Same
counts.
here. Yep. Same. I've caught all three the same day. Not all legal size. Either the one trout you got was too small, or the flounder is typically the hard one to get your hands
That
on.
would be the flounder.
That's where it gets difficult. Which I've heard stories back in the day of, like, those guys going out flounder, especially gigging flounder back in the 70s, and they would gig like 80 in a night.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Just wear them out.
Yeah.
Those guys are the reason why we got limits on them now, because there's not a commercial industry on flounder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard stories from a 70-year-old guy that they used to shoot ducks in the headlights at night. Like, yeah. That's why they put a limit on them really bad back in the 90s. Y'all was wearing them out in the 70s and the 80s.
Exactly. You're the reason we don't get to enjoy these pastimes of spotlighting ducks.
Couldn't imagine.
I had a guy that I knew in high school. I'm gonna be careful about this story. A guy that I knew in high school. He would do it. This is mainly how he hunted hogs, but he had a piece of shit truck, and he would just go flying down the dirt roads. And whenever the hogs ran out, he'd swing the door open and aim for the head.
Just take them out.
Yeah. That guy was not me. That was a dude that I knew. And I never went hunting with him because that's the kind of hunting he did.
And if it knocked him out cold, I guess, if it works.
Yeah, he'd get him. He had hogs. Now, I don't want hogs that bad, you know, for one.
Want to talk about boaters' rights?
I mean, I like bacon.
Yeah, have at it, John. So I'm curious about this conversation. I'm going to let you do the intro on this because I'm not totally familiar with this.
So
and I'm going to make you full screen for the introduction here.
The governor they just passed a law. I think it's something about boaters' rights or for boaters, something like that. And one of the big things out of it that I've seen is, you know, when you're out on the water, most places here in Texas, they do it, and Florida, I guess they do it, where they would just safety inspection, right? You'd be out there fishing, and they just roll up on you, safety inspection, and then they do the safety gear, then they look at the fishing license, and then they ask you if you have any fish, they look in your coolers, right? And, you know, part of me, I was like, okay with that, because go ahead and catch the people that are doing wrong. Well, I'm not doing wrong, it doesn't bother me, but some folks in Florida got really upset because I guess it happened a lot. And so they passed this bill where they cannot search your vessel with the excuse of a safety inspection. In other words, if they're going to pull your vessel over, right, or come up on you, they have to have probable cause, just like you're in your car and the cop has to have probable cause to pull you over. Same deal. So a lot of folks are really cheering that. I don't know, maybe some people get away now with doing illegal stuff because they can't just check them arbitrarily. But I don't know, we all think of that.
I wonder if it had anything to do with the guy getting arrested back in August. Man, he was like a high-profile guy. I can't remember what his name was, but the Florida Wildlife Commission, FWC, they arrested him. They stopped him and his family and accused him of being under the influence. And like, his wife was immediately on the phone with the governor or somebody, you know, high up, and then it wasn't no time his phone was ringing from his boss, but he still arrested the guy. And I'm wondering if that's not.
We might be part of it. That sounds like the kind of shit we're trying to avoid.
Right.
You know, reading this article on that here, it says that right here. So Governor DeSantis also announced that this initiative will prohibit boat inspections without probable cause, which were previously conducted as a safety compliance check. To this end, the bill will direct FWC to work with tax collectors to proactively provide a Florida Freedom Boater decal at registration. So basically, you kind of get your safety compliance check beforehand, and you get a decal that shows that you're good to go in order to prevent these guys from having to pull you over to get that check.
Yeah, I've seen some videos. I've seen some videos where some guys, they'll get checked, and then like out on the water, and it's probably Florida, and then they'll give him a sticker, a decal to put on his boat.
They've been inspected all right?
Yep, I have seen a few of those videos.
That's right. They roll up, they see the sticker, they got no other probable cause. They need to just let you fish and leave you alone, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean,
anyway.
This is, I mean, gosh, man. I know there are, when we were out on the jetty last weekend, we were fishing. And it was a really beautiful day. It was really calm. There's a lot of boats going in and out of the jetty, out of the channel. And we were at the end of the jetty. So people coming from offshore were coming into the channel to get back to port. There was one boat that I saw in particular, and this is absolutely not an uncommon experience. But they had opened up their ice chest while they were hauling ass back into the channel, and they were rearranging a pile of snapper. And these were monster snapper that they had in that boat, and they had an ice chest full of them. Fine, no issues there, except that monster snapper like that are something that you catch in federal waters, which is a 2 per person. And I'm not saying that they did anything illegal, and it's not like I'm like trying to sell out anyone in particular anyway. But what was very likely the case with this is that they went to a spot in federal waters and caught a in-state water limit of these federal oversized, these really big snapper. They're not oversized, but they're really big snapper. And those guys, if they get pulled over, like probably nobody's going to do anything about that. They're going to get told, guys, seriously, this is not in-state snapper. Like these are like, 28, 30-inch snapper. That's not something that you catch at Sammy Dam, 3 miles off of Bob Hall Pier. So they're going to get told. I doubt that they're going to get any kind of ticket or citation on that anyway, but just getting pulled over, as they go to dock their boat is going to be like, hey, maybe we should do this next time because we got away this time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I like it that, you're not getting pulled over for just any reason. It's one thing getting pulled over for any reason and then getting citations for any reason. But I've been pulled over dozens of times, and you get your checks. They're making sure everything's good. They check your fish.
Yeah,
we're legal. Never got a single ticket, and then we're on our way. We're good to go. So I've never got a single citation ever in my life.
Right. Likewise. I've been checked fishing just off the bank, and then I've been checked duck hunting several times, and the game warden will usually check our gun. At least 3 times I've been checked duck hunting, and the game warden will check your gun, make sure the plug's in it,
right,
make sure you got your license, and then he's on his way.
Yeah.
So I really,
I got a citation one time. Local lake here, me and 2 buddies, we're all retired Army guys, and I happened to throw my wallet in the truck because I didn't want it to fall in the lake, dumbass. And so we go out on the water and we're anchored up fishing, and here they come, 2 young guys that don't normally work the area, but were asked to come in and help out or something. They come up, hey, this and that, yeah, ID cards, and then fishing license. I was like, shoot, I left my fishing license in my truck back at the ramp. Well, here you go. He writes me a dang citation, and you can't just call and say, hey, I've already got a license. And so I have to go to the courthouse, and then the lady's like, I go, here's my license. I had it during that time. Oh, okay. No worries, you're good. But I had to go through the whole hassle of that. Exactly. Instead of him just following me back to the ramp where I could get in my truck and say, here's my license.
Well, and now they've even eliminated that as an issue because they can just look it up electronically now.
He tried
even that is a thing of the past.
He goes, where did you get it? And again, this is like 13, 14 years ago, maybe 15. Where'd you get it? I said, Walmart. He goes, here, let me see if I can find it. And he played with the phone. He goes, well, I can't find it in there. And so, okay, well, we can go to the truck. No, you're going to get the citation. So, all right.
I've wrote my customer number down so many times for duck hunting. I've got it memorized. So I could just tell it to him.
All right. Let's continue this conversation in the comments of this video down here. If you're watching after the fact, you have any thoughts, sentiments that you want in this, we are more than happy to jump into that conversation and see what you have to say, because there's a lot more to be said about this than just what we're doing right now. But it is that time, gentlemen. We need to do our photographs of the week.
Let's do it.
There it is. Okay. So these are brought to you by the Premier Fishing and Hunting Discord server. If you are not a member, you need to jump in there right now. There's a link in the description of the video down below. And I mean right now, get in on this because you are missing out on a ton of fun. Everybody in there, we have the greatest community of fishermen and hunters ever in the history of forever. And every week we very much enjoy going through everybody's experiences vicariously and seeing what everybody has to do. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now by looking at our photos of the week. Kicking things off with me, I had an amazing weekend. I didn't get skunked. I didn't get a video out of it. I didn't catch anything that was really, really special. But I did have a beautiful day out there on the jetty, and the beach was just gorgeous.
Nice. And that's your best side, too.
Yeah, right. That's what I was saying.
Looked like there was quite a few people.
You know what? It wasn't that bad. Like, it was a really pretty day, but there was a family up on top of the jetty that was fishing, and nobody was fishing hard. They were all just kind of having fun. I had free reign to like do the entire apron of the jetty, which I like doing, like moving around. Nobody got in my way. We were all cool. It was chill. It was actually a really nice afternoon out there.
Nice.
What's up, Zane?
Just the fish weren't biting.
They just weren't biting. They had been hit hard over the course of the weekend, and the sheep's head are kind of drying up. Pretty days, historically, I do not catch fish on pretty days. I can't have it that nice. It just doesn't work.
Gobblers.
That
property?
Yes. That's only the second picture of turkeys we've had.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
I saw some out on my land the other day, and we got them.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was a pretty picture.
Yeah, I'll be looking to get some pictures out of my place, too. I hadn't seen many turkeys until lately, so I'm really excited about that.
Nice pictures.
Yeah, just celebrating those guys who just got outside, got themselves some fresh air. Appreciate y'all sharing the experience with us, guys. Of course, we can't do that without Wild Japan. Guess what that is in the bottom right corner?
Some kind of fish on rice.
It's not.
Horse.
That is horse sushi.
It's what sushi?
Horse.
Oh. Man,
I did see that.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, saltwater got it. Pickles. Yeah, you saw it in the server.
Yeah,
Man, I'm not saying that is like a super high thing on my bucket list, especially the sushi version of it. But if I'm going to have it, I feel like sushi version is the way you got to go.
I don't know.
What's it taste like, Wild Japan?
What does it taste like? I am really curious about that.
And there's some pretty cherry trees, I think they were.
Yep. Dalai Lama says he doesn't like rice.
Rice isn't my favorite either. Instead of pepper steak and rice, we have pepper steak and mashed potatoes.
That's interesting. I'm good. I don't mind rice, but I that sounds good though.
Yeah, I like the rice.
Really good raw, mixed with soy sauce, and I love raw quail egg. So you're speaking my language. Uni shooters are like one of my all-time favorite. Like, that's a meal for me. I could go to a restaurant and just do uni shooters all night. Combo pork and beef. Interesting. Okay, we're gonna have to dive a little bit more into this. Hey, what's up, J&C? He says it tastes like dog. Potato way superior. Yeah, I hear you on that. I do like my potatoes.
Yeah. There's some fish.
Cold water species enthusiast. I think he's in the chat, right?
Those are all his pictures?
These are all him.
Dang.
Spoiler alert, cold water is going to be a waitlister because this isn't even all of the pictures he had for us.
Trout, perch, crappie, bass.
Pickerel Pilgrim, that's cold water.
Nice crappie.
Yeah, that's a nice area where he's fishing.
Dude, that variety you got is something else, man. That's a good selection of species. That's something to be proud of.
Yeah, yellow perch and crappie and trout. Golly.
Yeah. And just some bass just to throw into the mix there.
Of course.
A little bit more, a couple more of Cold Water's just mayhem that he's got over there on the right side. And then we got Crappie Toucher. Also, I don't know what you're feeding your perch, Crappie, but that is a slob perch.
Yeah, that's a fatty. That's a fatty.
Pretty smallmouth on top too.
Mhm.
Yeah. Pretty picture. Like really, really nice in the sunlight like that. Dude, Llama, man, I'm sorry. I don't have any pictures of yours. I don't know if I missed them or what the case may be. I went through them with a fine tooth comb, but I didn't see any of. Oh, no. I take that back. We do have. I think we do have some of yours coming up in just a moment. I apologize because this is 2 weeks worth of photos we got. Kiwi
Look at that trout.
tearing it up.
Pretty pictures.
Yeah. Nice fish.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So Coldwater's bass. I forgot about that. That was a 6-pounder, the one that you had the picture of.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, Kiwi, dude, I'm super envious of this, man. I'm a huge fan of those trout. I haven't been able to get into them myself, but as you can see, it's not even. And he had probably 4 times this many photos. He was out there in the snow one day, just tearing it up. He's out there 3 or 4 other days out there in the rain suit and everything, just killing it, man.
Yeah, Karen.
What's up, Terry?
What's up, Perry?
Good to see you.
Yeah, Kiwi, I commend you for your work ethic on this one, man. You were out there in it's like daily.
Yeah, nice.
Nice catfish.
Yeah, trout.
Brad, Marlin.
Kind of pike.
Wow.
Stratic was another one that was hitting it hard. Marlin, I think Marlin's been waiting for things to warm up. Good catfish, not knocking that, but he's just kind of biding his time until something really good comes along. A few more of Salmonoid Toucher's catches, and then Tiger's fan. He has been just chomping at the bit to get himself a good fish. He finally got himself one a couple weeks ago, and then we decided to take the week off.
Beautiful.
He was excited about the live stream last week. Sorry about that, man, but an epic catch.
Yes, very nice.
And an awesome photo, too. Keep those coming.
Yeah, great photo. Here's a big old carp.
Heck yeah.
Iowa fisherman, that is one of our moderators. That is Gunpoint Llama. And this dude, he's in Arizona right now as we speak. I don't know what he's trying for. I think he's trying for some of those trout or, I don't know. John, you were out that way, weren't you? You got any advice for him?
Yeah. Go to bait stores and talk to people. If you're in a new area you don't know about that, and look at Navionics on your phone and to see the lake that you're looking at. Don't have to have a boat graph to do that.
Yep.
Nice car.
JNC, go live. Get a video. Do something. I want to see this.
Go live, yeah.
You guys are finally getting some good weather. And then we got a few more because Gunpoint wasn't done yet. So this is all of the other things that he caught, including on the top right. That is currently our server record. What is that? Green? I want to call it a perch. I know it's not a perch.
No.
There you go.
Yeah, goggle eye.
Yeah, goggle eye or
rock bass.
Yeah,
Warmouth, rock bass.
Yeah. Green sunfish is what he said.
Okay.
How long?
So that's the server record. Anybody wants a record, you're going to have to beat him for it. Just so you know. And then Noah, I think that was him in here earlier. Noah, you still with us? That's a heck of a haul just across the board, man. I don't think that's one fish. I think that he got himself multiple. He was just tearing them up, him and his buddy.
I think he's got like 2 fish out of all that.
And just a bunch of different photos?
Yeah. Turn them this way. Now turn them that way. Now look this way. Now look that way. You got some good photos.
Yeah. If that's the case, I don't blame him. You got yourself a good fish. I don't blame you.
Yeah, you did good. Good photos, too.
Yeah.
Yes, you should. Wild Japan, absolutely you should.
Yeah, you have a chance of catching some varieties other people can't even catch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All those little colorful
I'm going to take advantage of that with redfish.
You can do that with all of them. There we go. Some nice bass.
For YouTube purposes, I'm not going to lie, I've done that before. I've brought multiple T-shirts on a trip. I don't do that anymore, but I have done that. What's up, Aeon? How are you doing, man? Pickle Pilgrim, I look forward to seeing that. Make sure you get a tape and make sure you get a good picture like one of these gentlemen. North Bunch, and that's the's name is the. That's how you want to be taking your photo for the server so that we can get you on the Wall of Fame. Beautiful smallmouth, by the way, North Bunch. That is gorgeous and a really great picture you got.
Yep.
And then Pickles, who also set a server record with a 35-inch snook.
Nice. That's a big one.
Let the drooling ensue. His buddy got a 37, but his buddy is not a member of the server.
He
Sorry, buddy.
Snapper down there. The trout's good size too.
Yeah.
Good fillet on that trout.
Yeah, that's a good day.
Couple of days. The snook, I think, was one day. The trout, the snapper, and that smaller snook were a separate day because he's been out there all the time.
Nice. Good deal.
Oh, here we go. So check this out. Wild Japan, that's awesome. That's a good friend that'll do that. Let you let him take pictures with your fish.
That's crazy that that alligator gar in the surf.
In the surf. Can you? I've seen that before. It happens, especially down here in Texas. But a strange catch.
Yeah, very strange. Well, there's some long, thin fish in them pictures. Pipe.
Aeon, there, yeah, that's Aeon. Got himself. Is that bowfin? Giant snakehead is what it is, and he was cooking it up out there on the on location. Good catch, Aeon. I like that. Arwen Head. Keep doing what you're doing, man, because those are some stud pike. Yeah, same here. I mean, we got a lot of brackish water. Normally, that's where we see them. They do make their way into the surf sometimes. I've seen them at the end of the jetty before. It's weird, but it happens. Sometimes they just wander their way out there. G Llama, there you are. So he got himself a dreadnought shark, and I don't know what kind of wrasse that is.
That thing's crazy looking.
Both of those.
Yeah. Oxman got a goldfish.
Right.
And goldfish, yeah. I hadn't got the red yet, Zane, but I'm gonna. I'm good for a 40-incher this year, I promise you. I apologize for missing out on that. Man, call me out on the server next time that happens. I make mistakes sometimes. I'll make sure you get it.
Trout, catfish, bass.
Pretty fish.
Just all kinds of good catches across the board.
Yep.
Oh, his was a blue throat wrasse, okay, or a kelpie.
Hmm.
So this is currently our 2025 Wall of Fame. I apologize, we're pushing a little bit long here. I'm sorry about that. We're getting to the voting for that right now. So it is time. We need to select ourselves a photograph of the week and add to the 2025 Wall of Fame. Our options this week are Pickles with that big badass snook, Kiwi with an awesome trout, Iowa Fisherman with a stud carp, North Bunch with that big old smallmouth, and Tigers fan. Guys, who needs to get added to the wall?
They're making it hard because the pictures are all good pictures.
I agree.
Yeah, for
These
real.
guys are getting good at what they do.
I don't know.
You know what? I don't think. Okay, so some side note on this.
Got a few votes already.
Pickles, I want to vote for that snook. However, full disclosure, that snook is currently the record in the server for snook. That being the case, that is the like.
He froze. Yeah, I think Stanley froze
Let me
on.
know when I'm back. Am I back?
Oh, there you're back. You're back.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So keep pedaling that thing so you get the energy. All right, I don't know, man.
I
This
always
is a
got my
tough
vote
one.
on this one.
This is a tough
It
one.
is
to
a
vote.
tough one.
Oh man.
We might have to do a second chance vote or something in the server on this one, because there is going to be somebody who walks away from this one right now a very unfortunate loser. It's not fair because there
Or
are multiple
there's-
people here. Like anybody here could easily be on the wall.
So there's going to be 4 people disappointed they didn't win, probably.
Yeah.
Wow, look at the votes too. It's spread across. There's votes for every one of them. That doesn't always happen.
Yeah, you're right. All right. We're counting up votes now. Let's see what we got. B, D.
What?
Oh man.
It's so close.
Did you guys vote yet? Grant, I see yours on
I
there.
do. 4 B's. D's got 2.
Oh, Greg. Coming in with
Yeah.
Is that all? Is that 1 for each?
A's got 2. Do we got like a 3-way tie?
Greg Tager popping in. F, thank you for that, Greg. Appreciate it.
It looks like B's got it, right?
I'm seeing 3 for Pickles, and he's winning in so far.
I see 4 for Pickles.
Do you? Let me
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
who we got.
They voted right when we put it up.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's it. Just because he has the server record, like right now, doesn't mean somebody else isn't going to beat it. Doesn't mean he doesn't deserve it. It's okay voting for him. I'm not trying to knock on that.
Oh yeah.
And we got 30 seconds left here. Let me count the votes. We got 12 votes today. I got nobody else popping in. Greg Tager, if you want to cast another vote for somebody else, you go ahead right now. You got 10 seconds to do it. And if not, we're going to go ahead and announce ourselves a winner with the votes that we got. Where's the Jeopardy music when you need it?
Right. 10 seconds is up, buddy.
Yep, I think you're right. Pickles, congratulations, sir. You got yourself a solid win. That is a fantastic snook. It absolutely needs to get added to our 2025 Wall of Fame, and it is. You are officially on the board, sir. Congratulations to everybody who showed up with some amazing catches. I'll see if we can't figure out something to do a second run for you guys, because you all got amazing catches and you all deserve a spot on the board. Obviously, a huge pat on the back to Wild Japan, Kiwi, Cold Water Species Enthusiast, NOAA, and Salmonoid Toucher for making my life miserable with all the pictures that I had to clip and put into the server. Just before we wrap things up, gentlemen, is there anything you got? Closing arguments before we shut things down?
No, not for me. Oh, we're going to be down at the coast this weekend. So,
Good. Yeah,
me and
we'll-
Audrey,
we'll meet up.
daughter, and grandbaby. So we're going to do a little bit of surf fishing. It'll be more just hanging out.
Cool.
Sounds like fun. Yeah, we've got a chance of rain for the next 7 days, so we'll see what happens. First chance we get, we're going to get out there.
Same here. I'm hoping to get out tomorrow. Hoping to get out this weekend. We'll see what happens. See if we can't get some see if we can't get some fish in the freezer. On that note, guys, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us tonight. We really appreciate having you. We look forward to seeing what you have for us this weekend. Go out there, get yourself some fresh air, touch some grass, and we look forward to seeing all the posts in the Discord server. You have a wonderful night. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe, guys.
Peace out.